You know, if you ever wanted a lesson in keeping your mouth shut and watching everybody around you go insane, look no farther than Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is the darling of the sports world, and oh, has it made people freaky. I mean, white women, black women, writers, journalists, TV heads, podcasters, all losing their mind. And nobody more so than her coworkers. Yeah, I call them coworkers, the coaches, the athletes of the WNBA. And I will take a bow because my lovely wife, we call her LLRD, the lovely Lee Ross Dakich, told you all this was going to happen through me. She said as soon as Caitlin Clark got in the league, the biggest problem she's going to have is jealousy among other women. And I get a kick out of it every time because it just happens. Women can't stand other women being successful. Drives them nuts. And this is actually morphed into the African-American world. Can't stand seeing a white girl be successful. We already knew in the world of journalism, if that's what you want to call it, that African-American NBA analysts can't stand white players being successful. But let's just take that aside. Because white women don't like it either. White men don't like it either. Actually, white men and African-American men are kind of just sitting back, relaxing, and watching this shit show. Except, of course, journalists, because they got a race bait. Jim Trotter and some little clown here in Indiana who nobody pays attention to. That's okay. But most African-American men and most white men are like, just typical women. That's it. And if that's misogynist, blame my wife. Because she educated me on that. And we see more. See, the lovely Lee Ross Dakich knows stuff. And the lovely Lee Ross Dakich said very clearly, women hate women being successful in sports. And man, every game with Caitlin Clark is a referendum on that. Let's continue now, through the stupidity of women jealousy. Again, that's my wife, not me. I'm just a conduit for her brilliance. The Olympic coach, this clown named Cheryl Reeves, is now in a little bit of hot water. USA Basketball is refusing to comment about U.S. team's head coach Cheryl Reeves and her recent criticisms of Clark, but also making the claim that Reeves, who also coaches the WNBA's Minnesota Lynx, doesn't have that much to say about how the U.S. team roster is constructed, as people are pinning the blame on her for keeping Clark off of the team. Honest to God, here is Cheryl Reeves. Let's get a little glimpse of what Cheryl Reeves, a nondescript, very talented, apparently, coach, had to say about Caitlin Clark. Also in action tonight, the Lynx take on the Sky. All right. Though fans won't be able to watch, Link fans can go to the Link app to follow via play along. Or if you are in the market, come to the game as we start this season off right. People are taking that as a slam on Caitlin Clark. I don't think that's a slam on Caitlin Clark. I don't know. I'm tired. I am. And I'm not even Caitlin Clark. I'm a bald-headed white dude who really doesn't care. Like, I talk about it on here, about things that I care about, but I'm starting not to care. Like, I'm almost giving in. If I'm Caitlin Clark, I'm going to go play in the Big Three. I'm going to play in Ice Cube's league and get rid of all these crazy people. Why not? These people are insane. Even America's worst commissioner had to chime in. I think Caitlin knows. She's ultimately got to prove it on the floor. You can't anoint stars in this league. There's other names that weren't on your list that are going to be the next fill in the blank, and they turned out not to be just because of their performance. I believe she's going to deliver. She seems to have the character and the drive and the will and the talent. Let her evolve as a player. I want to take the pressure off her, not put more pressure on her. Good for you, Commish. I mean, you are the softest, most worthless white dude out there. Good for you. Oh, yeah, let me go back. The hashtag, the W is more than one player. Let me go back to that for a second. I screwed that up. The W is more than one player. That's Cheryl Reeves, a nondescript but very, very accomplished coach. The W is more than one player. So again, let me back up. Again, the jealousy of everybody. Like my wife told you it was coming. And not only is it coming, it's here. You can't swing a dead cat without everybody being jealous. Some woman named Cheryl Reeves, who is supposed to be above it as a coach, certainly above it as the Olympic coach, couldn't help herself. Couldn't help herself. The W is more than one player. Really? The W sucks. It's losing $50 million this year. Now, it'll all get cleaned up because the NBA will subsidize it, get them out of the hole, and everybody will talk about how they're making money in 5 years. But even the Olympic coach couldn't do it. She just couldn't do it. She had to fall in a trap set by the other idiots in an idiotic league. It's turned out to be an idiotic league. Ran and played by morons. Because it is wild to watch, but they are killing the only good thing they've had out of jealousy, spite, typical women pettiness. And if you don't believe me, you haven't paid attention. If you don't believe me, you don't know women's. Nobody knows women in sports more than the lovely Lee Ross Dakich. Nobody. In fact, I argue all the time, I don't know that anybody understands sports better than Lee Ross Dakich at a level that most can't. And one of my favorite things to do is discuss what we're going to talk about on this show before the show with Lee Ross Dakich. And what she said, the two things that she has been absolutely right about. Yes, the quarterback is going to get money. Yes, the star player is going to get money. But you know who's going to get a lot of money? The little girl that takes her clothes off, shows her ass in a bikini, puts her finger in her mouth, and takes pictures. Hello, Livy Dunn. Hello, rest of you athletes. She was right about that, and she's even more right about this. Man, oh man. So, let me give you an example. Let's go to a screenshot of somebody named Dua Carrington, who is apparently a good defensive guard in the WNBA. Let's go to her screenshot, shall we? I had a chance to see it today. Dog. Dog. How one cannot be bothered by their name being used to justify, all the big words are coming, because Duja, or whatever the hell her name is, read a book. Racism, bigotry, misogyny, xenophobia, homophobia, and the intersexualities of all of them is nuts. We all can see we all have a platform. We all have a voice, and they all hold weight. Silence is a luxury. Give me examples of where Caitlin Clark's name, now I'm going to say this in her words, is being used to justify racism, bigotry, misogyny, xenophobia, homophobia, and the intersections of all of them. Just give me an example. I mean, I put this out, and I said, give me an example. And you know what came back? You're full of shit, man. Reading is comprehension, man. That's all I got. I simply asked the question. Give me examples. It's easy to say these words. It's easy for this nondescript woman to say these words. But again, are they accurate? Of course not. Caitlin Clark wants to play basketball. She's kept her mouth shut, and it has made people absolutely insane, like whoever this Carrington woman is. It's made them insane. Next time you want to piss your wife or husband off, you know what you should do? Learn from Caitlin Clark and just shut up. It makes them crazy. It's made the entire WNBA world insane. So yesterday, Little Woke Reporter, as is happening after every game, has his chance with Caitlin Clark. Here's the question. Here's the exchange.
Caitlin, I know you mentioned that, you want to focus straight on basketball. Definitely respect that. But when, just asking you directly, when people use your name for racism, misogyny, whatever, what is your response to that specifically?
Yeah, I think it's disappointing. I think, everybody in our world, deserves the same amount of respect. The women on our league deserve the same amount of respect. So people should not be using my name to push those agendas. It's disappointing. It's not acceptable. But yeah, I mean, this league is a league I grew up admiring and wanting to be a part of. Like, some of the women in this league were my biggest idols and role models growing up and helped me want to achieve this moment right here that I get to play in every single night. So just treating every single woman in this league with the same amount of respect, I think is just a basic human thing that everybody should do. Like, just be a kind person and treat them, how you would want to be treated. And I think it's, very simple.
It's amazing she's got to answer all these questions, particularly from idiots like James Boyd. I respect that. Who gives a shit if you respect anything? The guy's about 1 foot tall, 100 pounds, and got a job because he's cheap. Never written anything interesting. And I respect that. Who cares whether you respect it? And why does she have to answer these questions? Why does a 22-year-old girl from Iowa have to answer all these questions just because she likes playing basketball? I mean, it is amazing to me. Black women have targeted her, bullied her, gone at her. Black writers have gone after her. They've been jealous. And yet the black women and the black writers are the victims. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. It's like a brain-dead world. And I tell you who understands it. Men. Black men, white men, we just laugh at all this. We're like, y'all are idiots. Media, you're idiots. You women, you're idiots. You're killing a golden goose. You're going to make this woman say, you know what, screw this. Until you get your ass figured out, I'm gone. It's amazing. It's not amazing. It's actually very, 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 what's the right word? Predictable. Lee Ross, she predicted it. Every woman that I've talked to with her knew, that's been in sports, predicted it. Everybody knew this was coming because of jealousy. Charles Barkley talked about him being petty, cattiness, racism, but yet the ones doing all of that are the victims. It's the damnedest thing ever. Hey, back when Terrence Shannon Jr. was playing basketball for Illinois and he was up on rape charges, I simply said as an Illinois fan, I don't know that I could root for him. And I didn't. People lost their mind. Wait till it comes out. Fine. I mean, whatever's coming out is coming out. But I don't know that I could root for him. 350 million people in this world, and we're all not going to have the same thoughts. I'm really happy for Terrence Shannon Jr., and I want the woman that accused him of rape going to jail. I want her going to jail tomorrow. He was found not guilty on all charges that stem from an alleged rape that occurred in Lawrence, Kansas back in September. Illinois suspended Shannon as they investigated. Evidence shown in court suggests the accuser potentially made up the story for financial gain. His reputation was dragged through the mud, was subjected to no means known chance while playing games on the road. His NBA future was put in jeopardy. I'm really glad because he seems like a nice kid, but I stand by what I said back then. I don't know that I could have rooted for him. And if that pisses you off, go over there in the corner and be pissed off. But I think the woman should be in jail. I think the woman should be in jail immediately. I think Shannon, I'm glad he got acquitted. As he's walking out, the woman should be in handcuffs. This accuser bragged to her friends. Let's show it. This accuser bragged to her friends over text about getting money from Terrence Shannon. It's unbelievable. Oh, my God, you got him. Yep, yes, sir, got his ass. The use of the money signs was blown up as an exhibit. Honest to God. What do I tell you about women? I mean, hey, look, it's misogyny, but for athletes out there, it is very dangerous. It's incredibly dangerous. Here's another one in a group chat. How ridiculous. How about the dollar sign? He propositions the financial angel here. There are a lot of emojis to use. They could have used praying hands, scales of justice, smiley face, sad face, but instead the group chose to text dollar signs. Of course. Honest to God, we have been told by people that know this that women will have sex with a dude, keep the condom, tie it up, hand it to another woman outside a hotel room, and then put it in them to have a baby. The world is nuts. So I am eminently happy for Terrence Shannon that he gets his life back. I'm sad he had to go through that. I'm always sad no matter what. Period. It's awful. And the woman needs her ass and her friends in jail immediately so she doesn't put somebody else through this. Period. I think we've all had enough of this crap. I think we've all had enough of fake accusations. I think we've all had enough of, well, you got to believe the victim. I got to tell you something, and I've told you this before. My sister, 25-year domestic violence prosecutor in Bloomington, Indiana. Those of you that don't know where is in Bloomington, Indiana, Indiana University is in Bloomington, Indiana. Bloomington's a lot like Lawrence, Kansas. Very much so, actually. Close enough to a big city. Kansas City and Kansas is Indianapolis and Indiana. Close enough, yet it's its own idyllic college town. My sister, as a prosecutor in that town, had to make many decisions about rape, alleged rape, horrific crimes of domestic violence. And she told me, my son, my two nephews, before they went to college, stay away. Don't put yourself in any type of position. And she told all of us, never believe the victim. Never believe the accused. Believe the evidence. Go where the evidence takes you. This was at a time when every victim had to be said to be honest, true, and forthright. My sister said, a 25-year prosecutor, not a crazy fat-ass woman with purple hair, said, no. Believe the evidence. Go where the evidence takes you. And I'm really glad that happened in Terrence Shannon's trial. I'm really glad he got off. But it pisses me off that women continue to do this. This woman and her friends should all be in jail. They should be in jail this moment. And they should stay their ass in jail till such a time when they show themselves to be human beings. Because let's be honest, human beings don't do this to other human beings. Farm animals do this to other farm animals. Human beings do not make up charges and try to ruin other people's lives. They don't do it. Period. These women should be in jail. Terrence Shannon Jr. should be in the NBA. And if you're mad at me for saying I wouldn't root for him back in the day, or even saying I wouldn't now because I really don't care about Terrence Shannon and what team he goes to in the NBA, unless, of course, it's the Pacers, get over it. You'll be okay. You'll be fine. Little Illinois guy. Jesus. But these women, their ass should be in jail today, tomorrow, the next day, until they shouldn't even get a sentence. They should just be like, look, we're going to check on you about every 6 months. And we're going to see if you're a human being yet. And it's like a timeout. You're not human. You're subhuman. Get help. Seek Jesus or whatever phony-ass thing you got to say. Put up a pride flag or Ukraine flag and talk about God and put Bible verses. But we don't care about that either until you're actually a human being. We're not letting you out of jail. That's good punishment, Double D style. The Big 12 is in discussions to make more money. The Big 12 is in discussions to explore selling its name. Selling its naming rights to a title sponsor, with the potential revenue impacts being hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of the deal. How about that? Not the Big 12, the Live Conference, the General Motors Conference. What are we talking about here? Is there no dignity? Of course there's not. We got no dignity in this country. We got nothing. We're going to sell the name of our conference. Hell, I said this before when I was doing games on ESPN. The way referees and everybody else go to the monitor, they should put it on the back of their ass, Eat It Joe's, or put it on. I would take a temporary tattoo on the back of my head that says, Ralphie's Bar. I mean, let's just sell everything. We're going to sell a conference. Here is a little bit of Pete Thamel's text on this. Pete, sources, Big 12 is exploring selling its naming rights to a title sponsor, with potential revenue being hundreds of millions over the course of the deal. It would be the largest commercial deals in college athletics history, one of them not including media rights. Man, good for them. Here's more from Pete. The conference has had in-depth discussions about this, and a decision is expected in the coming months. The commercial sponsor would potentially take the name Big out of Big 12 and replace it with the sponsor's name. The OutKick 12. Let's go, Clay. The OutKick 12. Man. The Apple 12. What else is around here? And the iMac 12. The conference has explored this option for the past 6 months as a creative way to generate revenue, which could mean multiple millions of dollars for individual schools annually. Man, oh man. All right. Okay. All right. I don't know what to tell you. You know, I had no problem with advertising on jerseys. I mean, I'm watching Victor Hovland right now, and he's a walking billboard for a bunch of stuff starting with Ping. Yeah, I don't care if teams got that, but damn. You know, there's a saying, everything has a price, and I don't think we're seeing it any more than on the PGA Tour, of course, and now in college athletics, but they got to pay for 18 to 23-year-olds. And if we don't pay for 18 to 23-year-olds, if 18 to 23-year-olds don't get more money, I don't know what the hell we're going to do. Jeez. It is amazing to me. It is. Anyway, I digress. Steve Kerr felt the need to chime in on the presidential election. Steve Kerr wants to vote for open borders. Steve Kerr wants to vote for massive inflation. But you know what? Steve Kerr's making $17.5 million a year. What can I tell you? You know, he's all about gun control. He's all about Joe Biden's stance on gun control. I just got a simple question about gun control. I'm for it. I'm for whatever stops shootings. I'm for fathers. I'm for strong discipline. And if guns are the problem, but apparently Chicago has really strong gun laws, that hadn't stopped them from shooting them up every single Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night. But good for Steve Kerr. I mean, remember, and we have to always say this, his father, and I'm not even going to get into it. It's clear that President Biden is really interested in implementing gun safety measures, common sense gun violence prevention measures. I know that we can prevent deaths. President Biden is adamant that he's going to push for common sense laws that can do that, and I know that President Trump will not do that, so it's really a very simple choice to me. I get that. Everybody has their own issues. Mine are simple. I added closed borders because I know what's coming. Everybody knows what's coming. I said very simply, show me a president where I don't hear the word inflation. This all goes back to 1978, 77, 79, when I first started driving. Show me a president where gas prices are under control. I don't hear about inflation. Show me a president where my retirement keeps going up. And I'll tell you this, Biden's been all right at that. And that's a president that I'll vote for. We all have our issues. Nobody's going to criticize the fact that Steve Kerr only has one issue that he's talking about. See, I'm scared to death, as much as I can be scared to death, about what's going on with our open borders. Because not only have Republicans, but Democrats over the years have said very clearly, you can't have a country if you're letting everybody in. And we've seen it time and time and time and time again. People that are supposed dreamers coming in here raping, robbing, and murdering. It's not good for our country. So I've added that to mine. But hey, if that's Steve Kerr's only issue, then God bless him. Yeah, good for him. Who cares? Look, I know coaches well enough to know that $17.5 million, you ain't worried about the things that I'm worried about. You don't care about gas prices because you got more money than God. You don't care about your 401k because you got more money than God. You probably don't care about immigration because you got a big gate around your house. That's the most amazing thing. I got an argument one time with a friend of mine who I'm like, man, when I was in L.A., all these liberals had gates around their house, but they don't want a fence around Mexico. Well, it's not the same thing. It really is, in my opinion. Yeah, he got mad. Because whenever you deal with a liberal, they always get mad if you don't agree with a liberal. He also gave an answer about Caitlin Clark. I'm sorry for her that she won't be there, but I'm sure she'll have a great chance in 4 years. When you put these Olympic teams together, all you care about is winning. I agree with that. It's probably going to take Caitlin a couple years to really be at the top echelon. The women's team has taken the 12 players they think can bring home the gold. That's exactly what the men's team did. That's the name of the game. No politics in the Olympics. We just want to win. Well, that's crap. I mean, let's be honest. That is somewhat crap, but it's also, what the hell? But it's also somewhat true. No politics in the Olympics. Stop it. Michael Jordan famously and others wrapped their American flag over their Adidas or whatever the hell it was, Asics or whatever the hell it was, emblem as they were with Nike. Of course there's politics in the Olympics, but I'm not mad about it. I agree with what Steve Kerr said. I do. Look, I think they missed an opportunity. I've said this many times, to have Caitlin Clark on the team. Fine. But she wasn't one of the best 12 players. And I, as the Olympic chairman, care about one thing and one thing only: winning. I, as the head of NBC, care about one thing and one thing only: making money. Caitlin Clark will eventually be involved in the Olympic team this year. Just my prediction. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to fall down. Whatever. That's what's going to happen. Now, Tom Brady was inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame, and everybody swooned. Everybody swooned. He had his number 12 retired, and he told us all we need to play football because it's hard. What about marriage, Tom? What about staying loyal to your girlfriend that's pregnant with your kid, Tom? Is that hard? He's going to get a statue, and during his speech, he highlighted the impact that the game of football has had on his life, and he explains why every boy should play the game growing up. This is actually pretty good. Go, let's run that.
Encourage everyone to play football for the simple reason that it is hard. It's hard when you're young to wake up in the off season at 6 a.m. to go train and work out, knowing that all your friends are sleeping in and eating pancakes. It's hard when you're on your way to practice, weighed down with all your gear, and it's 90 degrees out and all the other kids are at the pool or at the beach, and your body is already completely exhausted from workouts in 2-a-days. It's hard to throw, catch, block, and tackle, and hit kids when they're way bigger and way more developed than you, only to go home that night bruised and battered and strained, but knowing you have to show up again the next day for just the chance to try again. But understand this, life is hard. No matter who you are, there are bumps and hits and bruises along the way. And my advice is to prepare yourself, because football lessons teach us that success and achievement come from overcoming adversity, and that team accomplishment far exceeds anyone's individual goals. To be successful at anything, the truth is you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't. Consistent, determined, and willing to work for it. No shortcuts. If you look at all my teammates here tonight, it would be impossible to find better examples of men who embody that work ethic, integrity, purpose, determination, and discipline that it takes to be a champion in life.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I don't get all motivated. I know I'm supposed to, and that's a really good speech. But, is marriage hard? I don't know. When I heard that roast, I just thought to myself, this is a really bad person. Like, this is a dude that took PPE loans when he's a multi-bazillionaire. This is a dude that cheated his sport. Like, this is a dude that cheated on his kids, cheated on his wife, I don't know about his wife, but cheated on his girlfriend when she was pregnant. This is a bad human being. If he wasn't tanned up and good looking and could throw a football on a dime, nobody would give a rat's ass. I don't know, but that's just me. I know I'm a bad guy. I know I'm supposed to stand in line and go, oh my God, Tommy Football, you're so cute. Always remember this, dudes. 2 women have divorced Tom Brady. Now remember that. 1 woman for sure. The other woman, I don't know, she's pregnant. He starts stooping the other one. You know what I'm saying? So when you think you're so good looking and your wife is so in love with you, make sure you understand one thing. If they'll divorce Tom Brady, if they'll dump Tom Brady, if they'll cheat on Tom Brady, they'll cheat on you, pal. I know that's separate. I just can't take Brady serious. I know I'm supposed to. I know I'm the worst. I know I'm horrible. I know I'm rotten. But this dude has cheated at everything he's ever done. Ever. And we applaud him. And he talks about the integrity Yeah, when my girlfriend was pregnant and I started stooping Giselle and I are the epitome of integrity. Huh? All you got to do is say it in this world. You don't have to live it. You don't have to be examples of it. You just got to say it. He cheated deflating football. That was proven. He cheated with PPE loans. This dude is unbelievable. And I know I'm wrong. I know. He's Tommy Football. Isn't he cute? All right. I'm just saying. You're jealous. I'm not in the same sphere as him. If I was Peyton Manning, I might be jealous. If I were Ben Roethlisberger, I might be. But I'm not even in the same sphere. No, man, I get a kick out of it. I do. I get a kick out of him. I get the biggest kick out of Tommy Football being this forthright, Captain America. All right. Okay. I just can't do it. Mike Vick, why are all these old heads trying to take all kind of credit for everything? Seriously, I get it, Mike Vick. I get it. He's back in good graces. But all these old heads. Mike Vick says he paved the way for the quarterback's new style of play. I would argue Bobby Douglas did, the first quarterback ever to rush for 1,000 yards. I don't know. It's the truth. I forced them to be able to play the position the way I played now. It was the scrutiny of will the dual threat style hold up, but it worked. There were always skeptics looking at guys like Donovan McNabb, Dante Culpepper, mobile quarterbacks. Dante Culpepper was slow as me, who were able to go out there and show me the way. I look at it as passing it on to the next generation. I got the scrutiny, but I just kept moving. And now you got mobile quarterbacks all over. My style was fast-paced. It was fun, a little reckless, but I got the job done. Couple Pro Bowls, good career. I'm proud of it. Well, here's the deal. When you have cachet, when you are on the right side of the media, when you have swag, nobody brings up the fact that you never won a title. They don't. What's that guy's name? C.J. Stroud. He was talking about yesterday or the other day, I'd rather have Eli Manning's career than I would rather have Aaron Rodgers. This is a good answer because you got to be politically correct. You got to sit there and go, all right, I won 2 titles. He won 2 titles. Manning did, and I want those titles. Nobody ever brings that up about Vick. I got the job done, couple Pro Bowl. I thought we're supposed to win here and not go to jail. Just me. I'm wrong. I am. I'm wrong. What can I tell you? Kind of funny. I love it. The king of word salad and destroyer of America. Sleepy, incompetent, incontinent Joe Biden appeared to start wandering off the G7 summit in Italy. These are my favorite videos. Needing to be retrieved and brought back to the group by Prime Minister Meloni. Just another day we are all living under the Biden administration. Jake Paul. Let's go to Jake Paul first. He discovered the biggest issues with the state of the country. He's talking about, he is detailing what young people want out of the president. Look at it. My man, where you going, Joe? Where you going? What's going on? Who are you talking to, Joe? What's going on there, Slick? Hey, Joe. Hey. Oh, what? This is the president Steve Kerr wants you to vote for because he thinks this guy has something to do with guns. Jesus.